What is up, guys? Welcome back to Stroke, the Art of Mental Stimulation podcast. You are here with the 5D Life Coach. I am so happy and ecstatic to be here with you guys today. Let's get to it, man. You know how we do it. Transparency, honesty. We get down into these experiences that we have in life. Man, there's no judgment here. There's no judgment here. Only love and light and just healing energy. Let's do it. Let's be the highest versions of ourselves. If you're new to this, make sure you hit the subscribe button. You can follow us on social media at STROK'D, STROK'D _ the podcast. And with that being said, of course, you already know what's about to happen to you. It is time to get stroked up. What is going on? I am so ecstatic. I'm so ecstatic. And, you know, for a moment, I was really thinking about the things that I want to say to you guys on this podcast. You know, I was getting to a point where I was like, can they really handle where I can take this to? Can they really handle where I can take this to? Because, you know me, it's called the art of mental stimulation for a reason. I like to stroke the brain. I like to push the boundaries. Whether, you know, I wholly believe in something or not, I just like to stretch the thoughts just to see how far it can go. So I kind of try to keep it in the realm where everybody can hang in there. But, you know, I had to stop and think about it. I had to stop and think and say, hey, who's ever meant to hear these messages, who's ever meant to be a part of the audience, that's who's going to be here. That's who's going to attract. So I'm no longer going to hold back. I'm no longer going to hold back. For those of you who have been listening, you already know what I do and how far I go, how far I push, where I take your mind to sometimes. I have people that say they have to pull out notebooks and, you know, really dive in there. And, you know, that is what I want to take this to. That's where we're going. I don't know. I've always been different and deep, and I don't like the surface. The surface is not for me. So if you're like a surface thinking person, it's probably not for you. But if you're someone that like to, you know, really get your gears going and you really want to be a part of a discussion, just make you want to think, whether you agree or not. Like sometimes I say stuff that I may not even agree with at the time, but that's where my thoughts went at that time. I like to be tunnel vision on this mic. I do not sit here and think about what I say. I let the information come from my spirit, which I think comes from above, the one above, and that's what I do. And it's been on my mind all week to talk about trust. You know, I was just sitting there one day and I was thinking, why do we trust one another? Should we trust one another? You know, is trust real? The concept of trust, is it real? Because number one, I always speak about we are flawed. We are flawed people. We are flawed individuals. And, you know, how can you trust something that you know is flawed? Like, for example, when you go to a car lot and you purchase a brand new car, never been driven. I won't say never been driven because I used to be in the automotive business, and, you know, the techs, they even drive new cars maybe a couple miles just to make sure they're good. But you get what I'm saying. 3 miles on the car, 5 miles on the car. But yet you still feel comfortable because you have that warranty. Okay. So you don't have a belief in your mind that nothing can go wrong with this car. You have that. You don't have that belief because, you know, throughout time, cars give out, things break. Things go bad, no matter how new it was, whether you're the first owner or not. So, you know, that warranty gives you that sense of trust, okay? You have a better feeling about it because you know you're covered, all right? So when it comes to our relationships with each other, with people, why do we build this trust with each other? Like just 100%, lo and behold, we put everything we have into the belief of something, the belief in something or someone, and then we're disappointed when it doesn't go the way that we plan. And I want to know, why do we do that to ourselves? Because we are meant to be flawed. We will always sin. We will always sin. We're meant to be flawed. If we wasn't flawed and we didn't have sin, we would be God. We would be Jesus or whatever. The only person, the only entity, or however you look at it, source, whatever you call it, universe, that we're supposed to believe in is God, the higher power. That's the only being that we're supposed to trust in. But yet we put this into each other and we're disappointed time and time and time again when this person doesn't meet our expectations. Because that's what it is. You know, we're, like I always say, we're living our own journeys. So you don't know what a person is dealing with. You don't know who they really are at their core inside. You know, we can be with someone or around someone, friends, whatever, for a long time, but we never 100% know a person. and how they will react in a situation. And we haven't been through all experiences with them. Like, for example, we have friends that, you know, they're not friends any longer, or relationships. And you notice when they're not in that relationship anymore, that loyalty and trust goes out the window. They're speaking about things that were talked about in confidence. That were just between the two. But when anger came about, anger and heartbreak came about, you got a chance to see a different side of that person. Growing up, I told my sister, you know how people have secrets, and you'll tell a person, and what do you say? I trust you. You're the only one I'm telling. I'm not telling anyone else. Or you tell someone a secret, hey, don't tell no one. You know, I trust you. Don't tell anyone else. And then you go about your business. Maybe what you said comes out and you're upset and you're mad. But I told her, I said, every time you tell someone that you trust, you tell them something, they have other people that they trust as well. So when you say, hey, don't say nothing, don't tell anyone, they go to that next person and they tell them the same exact thing. And they say, hey, but you got to promise not to tell anyone. And then they run to the next person and it's like, hey, but you got to promise not to tell anyone. I trust you. And it's like a circle. We're not meant to be trusted. That sounds bad, right? I don't think we're meant to be trusted because most times we don't even know ourselves. We don't even know. You ever watch Snapped and all that? It is a thin line between these emotions that we feel. A very thin line. And not saying it's not possible for someone to be trusted or whatever, because I'm a trustworthy person. I have things that people have told me in confidence that I would never repeat again. And I have put them so deep sometimes that I forgot about them. You know, that's the best bet for me. Like, I don't even remember what they told me because I put it so deep within my soul. But being transparent, there have been times when I've been told something and I may have said, hey, don't say nothing. Just call it a spade. We've all done it. We've all been there or whatever. So, you know, what makes another person different from you? Because we've all done it. Come on now. We've all done it. It may be a caliber of what you thought the thing was that you told. It might be some things that, hey, I know I would never. This is super deep. I would never. But it's, you know, it's a caliber of a thing that you thought wasn't too much and you share with your best friend or your sister, the closest person with you, and say, hey, don't say anything. You know, you held it at this caliber that it wasn't like so deep, but the person that probably shared it with you, to them, it could have been the world. So, you know, let's stop putting this trust into each other like that. Let's just live life and just hope for the best experiences. Let's just live life in the moment and accept that we're going to make mistakes. We're going to be flawed. Things are going to happen. You know, you trust people with your heart or whatever, and then when it gets broken, you're hurt and you're upset. And I trusted you, and, you know, I believed in you and all of this. We are not God. None of us. None of us have that. We are all flawed. And a lot of things is situational, and I'm finding that out myself because I've been there where I've so-called been heartbroken because I trust people, felt betrayed, felt whatever, all of these things. And I started thinking, I think my life would be much easier if I just live life moment to moment and expect people to be people, because we're people. You know, expect people to be people and just, you know, live and let be. If someone makes a mistake, okay, they make a mistake. You decide if it's worth forgiving. You decide I ain't going to say if it's worth forgiving. Let's retract that, because you should always forgive, because when you forgive, you're forgiving for yourself, not for that person. You know, you are relinquishing yourself. You know, you're calming your own energy. But you decide if it's worth moving forward with. You know, hey, that was too much. I can't take that. I can't believe you did that. So let me fall back a little bit. Or you decide if, you know, you want to look at that person as a human being and you have love for them, you have a bond or whatever, and imagine your life probably without them. And if it's worth it, hey, let's sever this thing. Let's save it. Let's move on. Let's realize that we're flawed. Express how you feel. Say that I was hurt or whatever. But I think the more that we get down into the thing of we're flawed, like we can say this over and over that we're not perfect, but we put this perfection on top of people that we can't even uphold ourselves. We can't. And I don't want to go here when it comes to relationships and stuff like that, when someone, you know, infidelity or with all that, and we're really upset about that. Oh my God, I trusted you. And this might be me pushing the boundary, but I wholeheartedly believe it takes discipline. But just like any other animal, I wholeheartedly believe it's not in our nature really to be monogamous. You know, it's not in our nature, but it's all about that particular person's belief, whoever you're dealing with. You know, I'm not saying it can't happen. You can't be monogamous, but I don't think that we're meant to be. Just like animals automatically do what animals do, and We don't have the language that they speak to understand what the conversations really are. But, a dog will walk up to another dog while the dog that they're supposed to be in love with or whatever is sitting right there. And, we're just more in tune with ourselves. I don't want to say we're smarter because animals are smart as well. I just think it's a barrier and we just don't understand it. And that's it. But, we have set these boundaries and rules upon ourselves and we govern ourselves that way. I think you should find what works best for you because there are other people out there who don't believe in monogamy or believe in the same things that you believe in as well. I think in life, our journey is to align ourselves with the people that have the same beliefs that we have or maybe the same systems and live that way. And we will be much more free because, we are like really putting our entire happiness, heart, trust, belief into systems that are meant to be broken, that are broken. Sorry. Like, we were never meant to be 100% of anything. Of anything. At any moment, that system could break. We're just not allowed to have a warranty. That's it. Imagine if we could have a warranty for things like trust and all that. When someone breaks the trust or whatever, you just, hey, submit your warranty. Hey, repair that thing, and it's back stronger than ever. Wouldn't that be great? But I think our warranty is probably, belief in God and belief in the fact that we are imperfect and, getting past it and moving past it and communicating and emotional intelligence and all of that. And I think we lack that or we hold back from it. It's like we want what we want when we want it, and that's why we put these things out into the world or whatever that cannot possibly happen. Yes, someone could be faithful to you. Yes, someone can cheat on you. Yes, someone could betray you. Yes, someone could be loyal to you, it's just situational and, depending on that person and where they're at in their journey. You can have someone that's been the best for 25 years and they have one moment where they slip up and, hey, that 25 years went down the drain because, hey, I trusted you. But like I said, you get to gauge how big that thing was, whether you want to sever or save that relationship or whatever, but we cannot expect each other to be perfect. It is like really just killing our spirit, our souls. As a coach, you'll be surprised how many people I speak with and their whole life is in shambles because they put their entire life into someone else's hands. They put their entire trust and belief in someone else's hand. So, that was the title of my episode, to trust or not to trust. Should we trust? Should that even be a part of our vocabulary except when it comes to God? And it says trust only in God. I can't give you the exact scripture. I don't know the Bible like that. Well, I can quote for quote. But I know God, I know his spirit or whatever, and that's who you can trust in. Because even when bad things happen to us, when it comes to God and a higher power, there's a purpose for it. There is a lesson behind it. It's getting us to where we are supposed to be. When God tells us we can have something, we pray and we get our answers back and like, hey, you will be this and you will be that. And in our mind, we think you will be this and you will be that right now. So then in our mind, then we start to question God, like why, when, where, all of this stuff, when he never gave us that. He just told us it would happen. So we have to go through the process of trusting and believing and going through the pains and going through the tests and going through the triumphs, because it's good on the journey as well until we get to that destination. You just have to continually believe, and we can do that with God. When it comes to each other, that's not always the case, but there are people here that we can believe in and we can, they do hold up their end of the bargain, but who's to say, when something happens in their life and, it messes them up and they're in shambles and now we don't see them as reliable or whatever because we don't really know what's going on within them, inside of them. And now they're not being as dependable as they were before and we're ready to write them off with all that because we're thinking from our vision, from our journey, from our story, and we don't know what's really going on. There was a short circuit somewhere, all right, in the system, all right? Pull out that warranty. All right. So, I think that's where we are really falling short. And, that was on my heart. And that's the type of stuff I think about all of the time. I bet y'all like, oh, my God. Yeah. All of the time. I really don't do surface level conversations for real. Like, I do them on a day-to-day basis. I kind of interact with people on their level. But you let me find someone who doesn't mind diving deep and having those type of conversations and going into that other world and out of this world and out of this box. Oh, my God, that's when you really, truly get to see me. So, that's the journey that I'm on, and I'm sharing this with you guys is, I want to stop trusting so much things in this world, okay? Because like I said, even when God tells us something, he didn't tell us how, when, where, whatever. So, just be steadfast in your belief in him and, keep moving forward. We're going to run into roadblocks. We're going to run into things that we do not understand. But you have to keep your eyes on the prize, and that's the hardest part, because we want that instant gratification. We want it now when we ask for it because it hurts, it's painful. I don't know which way to go. I'm confused, all that. In the midst of the confusion, just keep your eye on God and just keep going. As long as you're making steps toward whatever you prayed to him about or asked him for, you're going to get there. You're going to get there, and that's what we have to realize. Even running into these roadblocks that we think that, hey, I ran into this person and I trusted them and they broke my heart and all of that, that can even be part of your journey to get to where you have to go. That's a lesson in that. God wanted you to learn. He wanted you to learn that. And once your trust has been broken so many times from people, it makes you like, hey, you want to push people away and put up those walls or whatever. But I think it makes you, stronger and tougher. I know it has for me, stronger and tougher. I have been hurt more than, I don't even have words for the hurt, that I've been through. But I'm so tough now. If something was to come along right now and it'd be hurtful, it'd be tough or whatever, I may not even blink or think twice because, that tough skin has been built. And I'm realizing it. And I'm viewing people for, who they are. I'm not looking at people and seeing the worst in them. I see the best in everyone, but I realize we all fall short of God's grace. And we have to realize that. You just have to measure, how important is it to you to keep this relationship going, the situation going, and being inside of this, system. How important is it? Is it important to fix this car? Or should I go get a new one? All right, basically. Hey, you're driving this car for a long time. They give you the bill. This happened. This broke. This is what it costs. Is it worth it to you to fix this? Or, hey, should you just go get another vehicle, get that fresh warranty, that fresh start, because that's what it is. When you start a new relationship with different people, it's a fresh start. You get to know people all over again. Is it worth that to you? Is it worth saving, or should you move on? And that's what we really have to do, to trust or not to trust. I want to know you guys' opinion on this, man. So hit me up with some DMs, some comments or whatever. I mean, we getting some engagement going. I'm not giving you guys passes anymore. I want to know what you feel, what you think. We're going to stroke your brain and mind. We're going to get off this surface level stuff, the same stuff every day, social media every day, the same post, the same whatever. Let's think. Let's use our brains. Like I said, even if you don't agree or whatever, it may unlock the next thought to get you to somewhere that you're supposed to be. Like, hey, because I'm thinking this deep, I went this far, and now it's activated this. And now my creativity has been activated, and now I can do this or start this. That's where I want to be. Those are the type of people that I like to be around, man. The big thinkers, not where people are always telling us what to think and how to think. We're going to learn to think for ourselves, okay, and be okay with it. It's time to step outside of those shadows, okay? Now, I want you guys to make sure that, tune in to Vibe for 5 Friday. It comes on Friday. I'm not going to say I trust you to listen to Vibe for 5 Friday. I would like you to, okay? And, of course, what just happened to you, you just got stroked up. Bye.